opposed to this. I thought this
I now recognize Representative. Oh, my apologies. We're live. We're back from session. I now recognize Representative Ivan Blanco.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. First, I'd like to commend the mover of the bill. It surely has good intent, and all the co-sponsors. After discussions and compromise with several members of the leadership on the merits of the bill and some unanswered questions on the bill, I think it deserves further review. At this time, Mr. Speaker and members, I respectfully withdraw my subsidiary motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Blanco. Is there no objection from the members? All right, thank you, members. I now recognize the floor leader for his withdrawal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And with that, in line with Representative Blanco, I request or I'll offer to withdraw my suspension of Rule 9, Section 8. So move.
Motion has been made to withdraw by the floor leader his prior motion to suspend pertinent rules and has been seconded. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. So the motions have been both withdrawn. House Bill 22-33 remains on agenda. I now recognize Representative Selena Babalta.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Officially introducing House Bill number 22-34 to provide a tax credit for taxpayers who make donations of cash or food supplies to a qualified local food pantry, homeless shelter, or soup kitchen, introduced by myself, and I welcome other members to co-sponsor. May I proceed?
Yes, please.
Also officially introducing House Bill number 22-35 to add a provision to prohibit convicted felons from possessing firearms and or ammunition and for other purposes. I welcome other members to co-sponsor as well. Also introducing House Bill number 22-36 to repeal and reenact 6 CMC subsection 4115 to provide better clarity for trial courts to impose sentences, introduced by myself. House Bill number 22-37 to amend Title 6, Division 3, Chapter 2 of the Commonwealth Code by establishing a penalty provision for criminal defendants who fail to appear in court on their scheduled date. Officially also introducing House Bill number 22-38 to amend Title 6, Division 5, Chapter 3, Article 2, Protection of Abused Children, to enact a new subsection 5326, discovery of evidence of child abuse or recordings of child witnesses and for other purposes. I welcome other members to co-sponsor. And lastly, Mr. Speaker and members, to officially introduce House Bill number 22-39 to amend Title 6, Division 6, Chapter 5, Witnesses, by adding a new subsection 6503, witness to child outcry of abuse and for other purposes, and I welcome other members to co-sponsor. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Babalta. We'll go back to House Bill 22-34 will be referred to the Committee on Ways and Means. House Bill 22-35 will be referred to the Committee on JGO. House Bill 22-36 will also be going to JGO. House Bill 22-37 will be going to JGO. House Bills 22-38 and 22-39, both bills will be going to JGO as well. I now recognize Representative Joseph Flores.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This to officially introduce House Bill number 2240 is to establish provision for jaywalking and for other purposes, introduced by myself and several other members.
Please proceed.
And this is also to officially introduce House Bill number 2241 to amend 9 CMC subsection 8209 by removing the 7-day grace period for motorists who violated 9 CMC subsection 8203 and 8204 and for other purposes.
Please proceed.
And this also to officially introduce House Bill number 2242 is to amend 4 CMC subsection 1943 to authorize developer infrastructure tax credit for appropriate Chamorro and Caribbean culture design and for other purposes refer myself and several other members, and I open for other members to co-sponsor. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Flores. House Bill 22-40 will be referred to the Committee on JGO. House Bill 22-41 will be referred to the Committee on JGO. House Bill 22-42 will be referred to the Committee on Ways and Means. I now recognize Representative Joel Camacho.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Formally introducing House Bill number 22-43 to create an anti-littering incentive program by providing a reward for persons reporting violations of the Litter Control Act and for other purposes, introduced by myself and several other members. If I may continue.
Yes.
And also formally introducing House Bill number 22-44 to conserve, protect, and enhance the Sinamais native plants and trees for generations to come and for other purposes, introduced by myself and several other members as well. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Joel Camacho. House Bill 22-43 will be referred to the Committee on NR, and House Bill 22-44 will be referred to the Committee on NR as well. I now recognize the Vice Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Formally introducing House Bill number 22-45 to authorize the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands Department of Finance in consultation with the Department of Public Works to enter into a loan agreement for a sum of up to $16,800,000 for the construction and improvement of roads in the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, introduced by myself and several others. May I, Mr. Speaker?
Yes, please proceed.
Thank you again, Mr. Speaker. Formally introducing House Bill number 22-46, entitled to repeal and reenact 4 CMC 1402G to allocate 10% of the excise tax to the Solid Waste Management Revolving Fund, and with indulgence of the members and our floor leader, I would like to move to place this on calendar to the floor. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Vice Speaker. Before we entertain your request, I'd like to note that House Bill 22-45 will be referred to the Committees on Ways and Means and PUTC. And on House Bill 22-46, I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With that, I'll offer a motion to suspend Rule 9, Section 8, so we can refer House Bill 2246 to the calendar. So
A motion has been made by the floor leader to suspend the pertinent rules and has been seconded. Any discussion?
Ready?
Okay, with no discussion, all in favor? No objection? Ready?
No, calendar.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. Motion carries. House Bill 22-46 is now placed on calendar. I now move down to House Local Bills. I now recognize Representative Patrick San Nicolas.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Pleased to officially introduce House Local Bill number 22-4 to appropriate up to $202,996 of the earned interest income collected to the second senatorial district that has been identified by the Commonwealth Development Authority as available for appropriations and for other purposes.
Thank you. Please proceed.
If I may proceed, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, sir.
Officially introducing House Local Bill number 22-5 to appropriate funds specifically allotted to second senatorial district under the Public Law 18-30 as amended and for other purposes. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative San Nicolas. I now recognize Representative Donald Magnolia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Officially introducing House Local Bill number 22-6 to appropriate funds specifically allotted to the first senatorial district under Public Law 18-30 as amended and for other purposes. Introduced by myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Magnolia. Now we move down to House Legislative Initiatives, which is none. Now we move down to introduction of resolutions. I recognize Representative Denita Yantanay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to introduce House Resolution number 22-4 to congratulate and honor all the women in the Commonwealth as we celebrate their contributions and achievements during the month of March 2021, proclaimed as CNI Women's Month, and March 8th as International Women's Day, introduced by myself and others. And I welcome other sponsors, co-sponsors.
Thank you, Representative Yang Tamai, and I'm pretty sure all of us here is in support of Women's Month, and if it's okay with the author, we could introduce this as a committee of the whole. No objection. All right, thank you, Representative Yang Tamai and members, and if there's no objection, this will be placed on the resolution calendar for action today. Thank you. We now proceed to House Joint Resolution, and I recognize Representative Denita Yang Tamai.
I move to withdraw House Joint Resolution number 22-1. Do I read everything?
Oh, you're fine.
Thank you.
Any objections to the withdrawal?
No objection.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
members. House Joint Resolution 22-1 has been withdrawn. I now recognize the Vice Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Formally introducing House Joint Resolution number 22-2 strongly supports a delay in the proposed coral critical habitat designation process by National Marine Fisheries Service until such time as a 5-year coral status review and coral recovery plan can be completed, and have the Department of Lands and Natural Resources work in coordination with NMFS in identifying appropriate coral critical habitat for the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands using best scientific information available. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Introduced by myself and several others, and I welcome any member to co-sponsor this joint resolution. Thank you, members.
Thank you, Vice Speaker. The House Joint Resolution will be referred to the Committee on TR, and due to the time period mentioned by those that commented during public comments, I urge the Chairwoman to please work on this expeditiously. Thank you. Now down to House Commemorative Resolutions. I recognize Representative Magnus and Nicholas.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm pleased to officially introduce House Commemorative Resolution number 22-1 to extend our sincere condolences and sympathies to the family of the late Honorable Napo King Houdan, and to honor his memory, whose worthy endeavors contributed to the quality of life in the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. I introduce myself and all others. May I continue, Mr. Speaker?
Yes, please proceed.
To introduce Commemorative Resolution number 22-2 to extend our sincere condolences and sympathies to the families of the late Honorable King Huashi Borja, and to honor his memory, whose admirable endeavors contributed to the quality of life in the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. Introduced by myself and others. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative San Nicolas. I know due to these unexpected, unfortunate, sad events, you were not able to get to all the members. So is it okay if we introduce this resolution as a committee of the whole?
I have no objection, Mr. Speaker.
All right. Thank you very much, Representative San Nicolas. I now recognize Representative Selena.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm formally introducing Commemorative Resolution 22-3 to honor and commend Rose Lifoifoy Igito for her utmost dedication and commitment to the employers for the Garden Reserve, ESGR, and the Guam CNMI Committee. If I may, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to make a motion to calendar to adopt.
Thank you, Representative Selena. Yes, this will, the commemorative resolution will be placed on calendar for action today.
Thank you.
And again, if there's no objection, if we can, from you or the members, if we can introduce this as a committee of the whole.
Yes, I have no objection.
All right, thank you. Thank you, members. All House commemorative resolutions on today's agenda will be placed on resolution calendar for action. There's no House concurrent resolutions. We now move down to messages from the governor. I now recognize the clerk.
Mr. Speaker, under item 6, messages from the governor, there's just one item, Governor's Communication 22-21.
Thank you. Thank you, Clerk. Governor's Communication 22-21 will be referred to Ways and Means. Thank you. We now move to item number 7, Senate Communications, and I'll recognize the clerk.
Mr. Speaker, under item number 7, Senate Communications, we have 2 communications from the Senate, one for action and one for information. Senate Communication 22-5 and the Senate Communication 22-6.
Thank you, Clerk. I now recognize the floor for the proper motion to accept communications from the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I'll move to offer motion to accept Senate Communication 22-5 and 6, so it becomes property of the House. So moved.
A motion has been made to accept Senate Communications and has been seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Senate Communication 22-5 will be referred to the Committee on JGO. Under House Communications, we have none. And I will move to communications from the Judicial Branch. Clerk, please.
Mr. Speaker, under item 9, communications from the Judicial Branch, we have one item, Judiciary Branch Communication 22-1.
Thank you, Clerk. Judicial Branch Communication 22-1 will be referred to the Committee on Ways and Means. We now move down to communications from the departments and agencies. I recognize the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under item 10, communications from departments and agencies, we have Department Communication Agency Communication 22-5 through 22-9.
Thank you, Clerk. Department Agency Communication 22-5 will be referred to the Committee on Ways and Means. 22-6 will be referred to the Committee on Ways and Means. Department Agency Communication 22-7 will also be referred to the Committee on Ways and Means. Communication 22-8 will also be referred to the Committee on Ways and Means. And Department Agency Communication 22-9 will be referred to the Committee on JGO. Under item 11, Miscellaneous Communication.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
may I make a comment?
Recognize.
Thank you. On Department Communication 22-5, the letter from the Secretary of Finance to the Speaker and the members of the House of Representatives on the bill that I introduced along with other members of the leadership to restore the earned income tax credit to the to qualified taxpayers in the Commonwealth. I would like to note for the members' awareness, if you are not yet aware, since the American Rescue Plan Act did just get signed into law very recently, that act does fully and permanently fund the earned income tax credit for the CNMI and other territories. The value of that earned income tax credit is estimated by finance to be approximately $25 million. That's based on 2019 data, but that's the data that they have. And the next step for us is to expeditiously move to repeal that section of our law, our local CNMI law that imposes a 100% tax on the earned income tax credit for working families here. And so I'd like to urge for your support, colleagues, to make sure that we remove that barrier for our people to receive the EITC and to make sure that these funds are delivered as quickly as possible, because people really need this help, and it's money that will go right back into the local economy and would be its own kind of stimulus as well, which I think we all understand is needed at this time. So with that, I thank you, colleagues, and I look forward to taking up this measure expeditiously.
Thank you, Representative Sablan. We now move down to Miscellaneous Communication. I recognize the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under item number 11, Miscellaneous Communications, we have Miscellaneous Communication 22-7 through 22-16.
Thank you, Clerk. Miscellaneous Communication 22-8 will be referred to the Committee on Education. Miscellaneous Communication 22-10 will be referred to the Committee on Ways and Means. Miscellaneous Communication 22-11 will be referred to the Committee on Education. Miscellaneous Communication 22-12 will be referred to Health and Welfare. Communication 22-13 will be referred to Ways and Means. Miscellaneous Communication 22-14 will be referred to the Committee on Education. Miscellaneous Communication 22-15 will be referred to the Committee on Ways and Means. And Miscellaneous Communication 22-16 will be referred to the Committee on PUTC. Thank you. Under item 12, we have none. Under item 13, we have none. Item 14, we have none. We now move down to resolution calendar. I'd like to recognize the floor leader for the proper motion on House Resolution 22-4. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I now offer for the adoption of House Resolution number 22-4, a House resolution to congratulate and honor all women in the Commonwealth as we celebrate their contributions and achievements during the month of March 2021, proclaimed as CNMI Women's Month and March 8 as International Women's Day. So moved.
Motion has been made by the floor leader to adopt House Resolution number 22-4 and has been seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Resolution 22-4 has been adopted. I recognize the floor leader for the next motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And now I offer a motion to adopt House Commemorative Resolution 22-1, a House Commemorative Resolution to extend our sincere condolences and sympathies to the family of the late Honorable Michael Napo King Odan, and to honor his memory, whose worthy endeavors contributed to the quality of life in the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. So moved.
A motion has been made to adopt Commemorative Resolution number 22-1 and has been seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Commemorative Resolution number 22-1 has been adopted. Floor leader, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I now offer a motion to adopt House Commemorative Resolution 22-2, a House Commemorative Resolution to extend our sincere condolences and sympathies to the family of the late Honorable Joaquin Uashi Borja, and to honor his memory, whose admirable endeavors contributed to the quality of life in the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. So,
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made to adopt House Commemorative Resolution 22-2 and has been seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Commemorative Resolution number 22-2 has been adopted. Floor leader, please.
and then for the last resolution, I now offer a motion to adopt House Commemorative Resolution to honor 22-3, a House Commemorative Resolution to honor and commend Ms. Rose Lipoipoy Igato for her utmost dedication and commitment to the employer support of the Guard and Reserve ESGR and the Guam CNMI Committee. So moved.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made to adopt House Commemorative Resolution 22-3 and has been seconded. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Commemorative Resolution number 22-3 has been adopted. Thank you, members. I'd like to call for a short 2-minute recess. Thank you.
Hello? Tonight?
We're back from recess, and now we're now on the real calendar, and I recognize the floor to you.
Correction, Mr. Speaker,
Recognize.
before we get to the new calendar, can we be informed why are we not touching House Resolution 22-3 on the resolution calendar?
I recognize the floor to you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Because the House rule right now. So why do we want to touch it?
So should I make should we make a motion to refer this back to the ad hoc?
No, in honesty, there is some amendments to be made, so we are still fixing the rules. And I believe there's other amendments that we are planning to put on when we amend the rules. That's why we're not discussing the rules today.
Okay, thank you, so clarifying.
Thank you, Representative John Paul Sablan. So under bill calendar, I recognize the floor to you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And with that, under Rule 2, 4C and D, I move to withdraw House Bill 22-19 and place it on today's calendar. Thank you. So moved.
A motion has been made to withdraw House Bill number 22-19 from committee to place it on calendar. The AITC bill authored by Representative Christina Sablan and has been seconded. Discussion. Members, ready? Recognize Representative.
Mr. Speaker,
Representative Lee Guerrero.
I want to move my bill to calendar. I mean, all bills that have been introduced are vitally important. Don't understand why only House Bill 22-19 we're going to act on today. So, in due fairness to everyone, we should allow others to place their bill on calendar. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Guerrero. And just for the clarification, it's just for placement on calendar. If the author would like to explain the urgency of this bill.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, colleagues. This is a motion that the floor leader is made to place the bill on calendar so that we may act expeditiously. But we're not going to act on it today. That's not what the leadership is proposing at this time. But what has just happened is, as I stated earlier in my comments on the Secretary of Finance's letter regarding this bill, is that the American Rescue Plan Act has made available to the Commonwealth, as soon as it was enacted into law by President Biden's signature, close to over $500 million actually, and of that, 25 million is available for the Earned Income Tax Credit to fully and permanently fund the EITC here in the Marianas. And for us to make these funds available to our people, to qualified, struggling, working taxpayers and families, we have to repeal the section of the law that slaps a 100% tax on the EITC. So, otherwise, those funds will not get to the people who need it. And like now that the funding is available, the money should be transferred to the CNMI government in very short order. And people need this money. And so there will be time for all of you to review the American Rescue Plan Act, particularly as it pertains to the EITC. It's very straightforward. It's 100% permanent funding for the EITC, but we have to do our part as a Commonwealth and restore the EITC in our own law before these funds can be available to our people. So that is the urgency. I would also note for our colleagues' information that the American Rescue Plan Act is a massive bill, a $1.9 trillion stimulus package for the American people, and including the Marianas and all the territories. And they recognize the urgency of also responding to the health and social and economic impacts of this COVID-19 pandemic EITC is part of that, we also have to act expeditiously. So I thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions between now and when we do act on this bill.
Thank you, Representative Tina Sablan. Further discussion, Representative Ivan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Rep. Sablan, you did mention earlier that the Recovery Act that was signed into law will fund the EITC 100%, and that's a good thing. But I have not seen the documentation of such, and I think we would need that in light of what the Department of Finance, I guess, wrote to the committee or wrote to the speaker that there's concerns regarding I don't know if it's the original bill or the current bill, and that they have offered a substitute bill. If I may, Mr. Speaker, I can read it.
Proceed.
Okay. What the Department of Finance has offered is that the tax imposed under subsection A shall not apply to any overpayment arising from a tax credit that is accounted for by any authorized funding source. So, because I have not seen the black and white from the law, I think it would be fair if you can share that it's going to be 100% funded, so that we do not end up voting yes on it and then, oops, we were not aware of this particular tax requirement. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Rep. Blanco. Recognize Rep. Tina Sablan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Leader Blanco, for raising the question. The Secretary of Finance's comments were submitted when the American Rescue Plan Act was still in reconciliation, and at the time, it was what was in the language was a 75% coverage. But then that changed. It went through the Senate, and it became 100% permanent funding. And thanks to our Congressman Kilili for all of his efforts in making that happen. So the act was just signed into law last week by President Biden. And so I would be more than happy to share with you the excerpt of the act that makes it very clear that this is 100% and it's permanent for EITC for the territories. I will share that with you. I just got it myself a few days ago. We knew that this was in the works, but now it's in the law, and we do have to act quickly. So yes, I will do that too. Thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Sablan. Rep. Blanco, you're good. Okay, just wanted to make sure. Any further discussion? I recognize Representative John Paul Sablan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and to the author. I believe we all are in agreement that we should reinstate the EIC, and I know that a lot of these documents from the feds have not yet gone to our indulgence to review, but I don't see why we don't have confidence on the Committee on Ways and Means to review this probably the next few days and give us a comprehensive report on the urgency and the need to reenact such public law. And I'm sure our good colleague, can we hear from our good colleague, Chairman of Ways and Means? Are you in position of acquiring information for such a proposed legislation?
Recognize Representative Magnolia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Based on the information that Rep. Sablan has shared, it is the understanding of the committee that we do have the necessary information to act on this legislation. Again, time is of the essence, and we're just trying to get the monies out to the people in need. And so Rep. Sablan did share that she will disseminate that information to the rest of you who may have not seen that yet. And so she does have those documents ready for your review. Thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Magnolia.
Mr. Speaker, I hope that we can avail to that document as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Sablan. Representative Tina, please get those documents.
Yes, I will provide that to the members today.
Thank you very much. Any further discussion? Ready? All right, the motion is to withdraw House Bill 22-19 and place it on calendar for action in the next session. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Bill 22-19 is now placed on. Thank you, members. We'll now proceed down to number.
Privilege, Mr. Speaker.
Recognize Representative.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And since this body is in the spirit of withdrawing bills from committees and putting them on calendar, then I will also reiterate a request that I've made to you, Mr. Speaker. As you know, this body, on February 26th, the Economic Council presented to the House, and one of the recommendations was the transformation of CDA to CEDA. Prior to that presentation, I had already introduced House Bill 22-21. On the same day of the presentation, Mr. Speaker, you were appointed to the Economic Council, and since then, the Economic Council has followed up with my office on the status of House Bill 22-21, which has been referred to the Committee on Commerce and Tourism. Today, the Saipan Chamber of Commerce just 30 minutes ago transmitted a letter of support to my office, unaware that the bill is referred to Commerce and Tourism, but I will share this letter from the Chamber to the Chairwoman and to you, Mr. Speaker, and the members in support of the bill, highlighting that it is truly a revenue generating bill, and that providing the new tools and authority to what would become CEDA would realize new diversified investments in the CNMI. CDA, the entity that will be impacted through the transformation, also supports this bill. And in my discussion with you, Mr. Speaker, on March 3rd, you got back to me a few days later that you had spoken to the chair and there will be movement on this bill. Unfortunately, we haven't had time to do that. Yesterday, I want to thank the floor leader, who yesterday again made a request to the leadership to move 22-21 to the calendar for action. Given that the bill is rather short and very straightforward, but impactful in terms of revenue generation. And so, as much as we support allowing the committee to do its work for the bills referred to it, but we have opened the door today to withdrawing bills that are critical and time is of the essence. And so in that regard, in that spirit, I'm also asking the floor leader at this time to withdraw 22-21 and placement for the bill calendar. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Representative Demapan. And if there is no objection to the members, I'd like to give the Chairwoman the floor to give us an update on the bill. Representative Yankton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yes, we've been we're trying to get the comments, send out the letter for comments from different agencies, and we're also doing research on this thing. May I ask you, what is the difference between CDA and CEDA besides the letter E?
Recognize Representative Demapan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The difference is, as written in the bill, the addition of 5 new subsections of authority and tools to empower CDA to now have a renewed focus or greater focus on economic diversification through the flexibility of attracting U.S. investments to the Commonwealth and to help diversify our economy and strengthen the creation of jobs here in the CNMI. At present, without the 5 additional tools, they're operating on status quo. And as you can see, the status quo is not attracting, there is no focus on attracting new investments here. And so that is the difference, is 5 new tools and authority to expand their role in making sure our economy grows and our people have new jobs. Thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Demapan. I recognize the chairwoman.
Okay, thank you. We will be sending out the comments, letters, and then we'll get back to you, okay? Thank you. And thank you for that, the one you got now. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Representative Demapan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Madam Chair. And I am awaiting the floor leader's response to my request. Thank you.
Can I call for a quick recess? Thank you. back from recess. I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I believe we came to a compromise, and I will invoke my Rule 2, Section 4, C and D, and that is to withdraw House Bill 2221 and place it on today's calendar. So moved.
A motion has been made by the floor leader to place House Bill 22-21 on calendar. Has been seconded. Any discussion? Recognize Representative Tina Sablan.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and Mr. Floor Leader for making the motion. I would like to just make sure, like for the record, that the members will be able to avail of the supporting documents that Representative Demapan mentioned he had. My understanding too is that Chairwoman Yanktamai is having a Commerce and Tourism meeting this Thursday, and that bill it may be up for discussion as well, and to receive comments. And so I do look forward to learning more about the merits of the bill and possibly taking it up for action on Friday. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Tina Sablan. Any more discussion? All right, ready? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Bill 22-21 is now placed on calendar for action at the next session. We now move to item number 17, miscellaneous business. Members? Recognize Fred Blanco.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is the first time that I ever request for a recall of the House Resolution 22-2, as some of the proponents of it are requesting additional language to it. So I'm not sure if I'm the one to make the motion or the floor leader to make the motion for recall.
Short recess.
Chairman Blanco, I think we've adopted that resolution.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I yield.
Thank you, Representative Ivan. Any other member under miscellaneous?
Ready.
All right. Move down to announcement, agenda item number 18. I will be calling a session for 2 o'clock this Friday. That's the announcement.
We're in recess.
No.
Privilege, Mr. Speaker.
Recognize Representative Babalsa.
Does that mean we're going to go on recess today or adjournment?
No, we will be adjourning. And I just want to, I make a correction there at the request of the clerk, if we can just move it to 2:30 on Friday. All right, thank you, members. Under announcement, any other member?
Ready.
All right, I now move down to adjournment. Recognize the floor for the proper motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and with that smooth session today, I offer a motion to adjourn subject to the call of the chair. So moved.
A motion has been made by the floor leader for adjournment. All seconded, no discussion. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, stay. The ayes have it. Session adjourned.
Thank you.
That was smooth.